Look at that. Is this all that? These are all tickets. Oh, it's not just Young Lions. So that's a ticket for the first Not Dead Yet show.
You're nervous.
I'm nervous.
So like that, Young Lions.
You know why? Because I don't like.
Young Lions dropped off in advance. Double negative plane tickets. One of them didn't have their passport. Knife fight tickets. This one, yeah, it's Knife Fight. Oh, that's like this is completely unrelated, but there's tickets to Trapped Under Ice, 2011. Sick. Fucked Up was doing like a weekend thing, where they would, when Hidden World came out, they organized like a weekend of shows, and that was sort of like my first exposure to like all-you-can-eat hardcore, I guess.
All you can eat?
Can we call it that? A hardcore smorgasbord? I missed having, like, a thing. And, so basically, like...
He just sat and stared out the window and cried longingly for hardcore to return to Toronto.
And then I thought, if I build it, maybe they will come. No.
That's another Kevin Costner movie.
That is Kevin Costner movie. But yeah, so it was just like, I want to do a fest. So I started emailing friends and S.H.I.T started reaching out to friends, and we booked like a weekend of shows. And it was great. It was cool. And I remember people being like, this is the most fun I've had at a hardcore related event in a long time. And I was like, that's awesome. That's a reason to keep doing it.
This is awesome. It's so easy. You know what we should do? We should make it much harder on ourselves. Make it much bigger.
When we started doing it, it was just like a festival, and there was no like expectation of it. There was no like, this is what Not Dead Yet is.
Anyway, the way that it starts is that we sit on this couch, we make a list of all the bands that we want to see, and we think about it, and we think about it, and then we stop to watch The Bodyguard, and then we think about it some more, and then we just start asking people, and they start emailing, and they get a little check mark if they say yes.
Yeah, and
sending letters in the mail.
Yeah, I've actually sent people like handwritten letters.
Did you get an owl to send them out?
There's a pigeon.
No, but you can still send a letter through the mail. But yeah, so it's just like a lot of rethinking it. Like, because when you start it, you're like, I want this band, this band, this band, and this band to be the headliners next year. And then like you start asking them, and I'll have ideas, and S.H.I.T will be like, that's stupid. And then I'll be like, what about this? And she'll be like, it's stupid. And then I'm like, how about we do 10 shows? And she'll be like, you're an idiot. I hate you.
It's not that I'm saying the bands are stupid. I'm saying that getting carried away and making it excessive with like a million shows and things that we can't manage is stupid.
Yeah, because it's like, especially this year was that last year and this year were like kind of at a point where it's like, it's so big we almost can't really enjoy it. This year you really enjoyed it.
I had a great time.
am Emily. I am from I.C.E. I want to make every male feel as uncomfortable as possible in the room. I want to be as hard as possible. I want to be as angry, and I want to take over. 2016 will be dominated by women, and I'm looking very much forward to it. I have never seen more women than I have now, and it's getting bigger. We're fucking angry.
So, what are some challenges that you have faced over the years? Anything worth mentioning at all?
Venues, lack of all ages venues in Toronto, number
Huge
one,
problem.
and just the pure cost of venues. Canadian dollar sucking.
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
That really sucks.
Yeah, because a lot of the bands we have come over from the States or abroad, and that's been challenging. What else is challenging?
The hardest thing for me is like the commitment that it takes. Like if I decide, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it again this year. Like if I commit myself to that, then it's like signing up for like a year's worth of potential pain. Like it's like we could get to like this year was like tricky because like year 4 I think we got like almost all the headliners I envisioned. Like I was like, I want to get Cold World, I want to get Markman, I want to get like who else played that year?
Well, not that year, but Forward.
Like all those bands were like planned out super early, and then it all kind of happened, and there was like no big bands that we tried to get that we didn't get, and then this year there was like a list of bands that we wanted to get, and then like a bunch of them just couldn't do it. But it was like you can't just like pack it in.
I mean, I think that we're
It's
lucky.
just like it's a big commitment.
I think that we're lucky also because we in punk are friends with other people who run fests in other cities. So it's kind of like a community where you can talk to these other people who run the fests in Texas or run fests in New York or whatever, and everybody can kind of like give their wisdom and willing to help. And even some of them come up to the fest and work the festival to help us out. So looking at you, Dano.
I like the idea that at a festival you kind of get to like hang out in the city, and like
Chaos and Chaos did it best.
Yeah.
Not being trapped in one room
Austin.
forever. Having just multiple venues you can hop around and then just like take breaks or whatever. I've been to a million festivals, and that being trapped in one room for like 12 hours, seeing all bands that sound the same is a fucking nightmare.
So let's re-ask that question. Why did you guys choose to choose the shows that you want to go to?
Choose your own adventure?
Yeah.
I prefer to call it a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it is a choose your own.
I think it has to do with logistics mostly.
Yeah, logistics, but like also who the fuck wants to stand in a room for that long? Like and when you say it that way, it's kind of like it's not that people can't book, like you can't book a day's worth of bands and put them all in one room, but it's like the bands that play first are going to get like lukewarm reactions, or like you know if you're playing in a room that a band that like a 2,000 person room that the headlining band can do a 2,000 person room, but everyone else can't. It's just like lots of bands will fall flat, and like it's like overall not a good time. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, ask who wants to be in a room for that long seeing 20 bands in one day.
And like,
I don't know anyone.
Playing a big stage, I think, is like a hard thing that not a lot of bands are like accustomed to, and it's not authentic to what they're doing either. You know what I mean? Like, you have like I'm sure, like, I've seen Power Trip play bigger rooms, but I've never seen them play like 1,000 or 2,000 person room. I'm sure they could kill it, but like, it's not like, I'd rather see them play in like a smaller venue, a smaller packed venue. You know what I mean? That's part of it as well. Small packed venues is a way better way to see a show.
Not Dead Yet 2016 is all happening in a basement, so hope you're ready.
It is?
It's going back to its roots. Basement
House show.
shows. House shows.
There's like, at least for me, there's like a whole sort of philosophy behind it where like the festival in a weird way like shines a spotlight on the city, and I think making sure that like local bands who are like either people have heard of but haven't seen, or like haven't heard of at all, get a chance to like play the shows even if they're opening, and like be on the flyers, and like, you know, like get associated with the other bands around. I think that's like one of the biggest benefits of the festival in that sense.
Hi, I'm Andy. I play guitar in a band called Chlorine. I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not very good at that kind of thing. The biggest thing I think is cool because it really helps us showcase like what makes what I think makes Toronto hardcore and punk and outsider music in general just really important, and that's the diversity within our own scene. And it helps a lot of out-of-towners sort of experience just all the different kind of sounds that are going on here.
Well, a lot of the time I think that people come from around the world, like because their band's playing, but people that aren't in a band that come from around the world, I think a lot of those people like to go to a lot of fests. I'm not personally one of those people, but when people come from around the world, they understand that it's important. They want to experience hardcore in a different city, and just like food and everything has a different taste. You know, Toronto hardcore has its own specific taste, and I think people want to experience that.
Yeah, people want exposure, I think, also to a new city. I think Toronto hasn't always been sort of like a big home to hardcore. You think of hardcore, you think of New York City, you think of Boston, but now finally people have a reason to come to Toronto, and I think that's really sick.
Yeah.
Having all our friends in town, and it's a chance for us to show off our neck of the woods. You know, I go to Boston so often, and I've fallen in love with that city. So it's great to have my friends here, show them the sights and the sounds, and the eats, if you will, like Swiss Chalet.
Yeah, but it's not like they're just on the bill because they're locals. Like, we have great bands in Toronto. We have a great scene, so why wouldn't we put those bands on the shows?
Yeah, that's
Triage. I think that it's a great way for local people to be involved because, you know, it takes a lot of people to run the shows. Can't be everywhere in one place, especially when there are multiple shows happening at the same time. So it's great. Like, we had, you know, Scott and Irina ran all the matinee shows, and we had 1 million different people work the doors, and in that sense it's a great way for people to be involved. In terms of new bands, of course, anytime you go to a festival and you see a bunch of bands you've never heard of, you're going to come out probably liking at least one band that you've never heard of before.
it like gives people something to like look forward to and talk about their city. Like it's something that we have, you know what I mean? And it's like Toronto's had a hard time with maintaining like punk spaces, and like it's this sort of like recurring punk identity, so it's like having the festival allows people to like have a thing about Toronto. So this book, I don't know what's in there, but Benoit Pepin is like legendary unsung hero of punk and hardcore in Canada. And this book, so like, you know how we do the art show and stuff? So like the first year of the festival, Benoit, friends of ours in Montreal put out this book for Benoit, just like a collection of his photos over the years. And he's been taking photos since the 90s of like all amazing bands from everywhere. And we did a photo show for him, the first Not Dead Yet, at Hits and Misses. And
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. But like, so the Faith Void thing is sort of like continuing, doing the art show there. It's like, you know, that's a big thing. That's like something that like, again, is like, I try to communicate during the festival, or like when we're promoting it or planning it. And it's like, it's really, really important to us that like people like support these sorts of places in the city, be it like Faith Void or D Bistro or Hits and Misses, like different like punk run businesses, the businesses that support the community. So it's like the festival's like a neat little way of like giving back. It's certainly something that like I wrestle with and think about, like does the festival benefit the city? Because I don't want to do it if it doesn't benefit the city. And
what do you mean the city? I don't give a fuck about the city. Do I care about my friends and the scene? That I care about. Do I care about it like helping
you know
the industry of Toronto tourism?
No,
not
absolutely
really.
not. But the Cronenberg thing did pretty well.
Yeah.
As soon as we got into the city, it was like cool. Everyone has been super nice. It's like most of us, like all of us actually, it's like our first time in Canada. Everyone's been like super sick and super nice, and I don't know. I've had like a great time. Our show was sick. Like a lot of people that wanted to see us got to see us, so it was cool.
I love Not Dead Yet. I have come every single year. It's my favorite fest of all the fests.
We come here, we know a lot of people that are very involved in the scene who really put a lot of effort into it. And, you know, I think people would have you think that because it's a big city, it may be easier to have a show, to book a fest, to do all these things, but I think it's just as hard as anywhere else in the entire world, you know, and there's people who put a lot of effort into doing things like Not Dead Yet, and, you know, it really shows. This weekend is running really great. All the shows are really, really incredible, and it happens year after year. It's a testament to the, you know, the power of the Toronto scene. The same idea of just putting all these different types of bands together from around the world, from around the country, and having them here for a weekend, but it has completely different goals and ideals. You know, it's not about bringing 100,000 people into a field and letting them run rampant and making a bunch of money off them. It's about showcasing what this whole genre of music is about. And yeah, I think that's really important and really powerful to bring people together of that mindset for a weekend. You know, when you go to a big music festival, it's people there for a bunch of different reasons. None wrong or right. You know, it's just some people want to be entertained, some people want to see the music, some people just want to be there for the social aspect. Whereas this is it's a very specific thing where you go because you want to be there, and you go to the shows that you want to see, you see the bands that you want to see, and you're involved. And through doing that, you get to meet other people who are the same mindset, and that's really important and really cool.
Final word, Not Dead Yet 2016.
Final word.
Nick Rasco, if you're watching this, hit me up.
Well, number one, obviously Not Dead Yet would be nothing without all of our awesome volunteers who help us run the festival.
Not just that, like...
And all our friends and bands who come up to play, who make the great journey across the border to play, and across the country,
but like...
and across the city.
Everyone in the city who, like, helps make it what it is and, like, makes the scene what it is, it's like... I can never really stress it enough, but like having had the opportunity to like leave it a bunch and like go see how things are in other places, it's like when Toronto is at its best, it's like so much better than anywhere else. And I don't mean that like in like this like arrogant like holy, our scene's better than yours mentality. It's just like everyone here gets along really well, and like there's like not as much shit talk as like other cities, and like it's just like everyone seems to like generally enjoy when they're participating, which I think is like a really cool and actually unique thing, despite whether or not people know it.
Don't forget the struggle. Don't forget the streets.
Do that again.
That was organic, Ethan. You can't just ask us to do it again.
Replicate that.
We're going to play a little song that was a dream come true for me. Wanted to be here a long time, and I got to realize this dream. It's like a make-a-wish in Montreal last weekend. And we're gonna do that again tonight. You guys heard of a band from Montreal called the S.H.I.T? I sit there. It's a song called Who's Next?
it.